This is part 2 of 2 of the Checklist Training app video. In this tutorial, we will show you how to use the Checklist app. To begin, you must find the Checklist app icon and tap it to launch it. The application icon looks like a checklist with a water drop in the top right-hand corner. The Checklist app should open in what we call the listing screen. The listing screen has two parts: in-progress checklists and My Checklist templates. In the top right-hand corner of the screen, you will notice a help icon. Tapping this help icon brings up context-sensitive help. For example, tapping this in the listing screen brings up the listing screen help and gives you a description of what the screen does. In addition, scrolling down gives you a list of what the icons on the screen mean. It also is a good way to find out frequently asked questions on how to do things. The icon to the right of the help button is what we call the refresh button. Looks like two arrows pointed at each other. This button simply refreshes the clocks that are in the My Checklist templates and the in-progress checklist. There is typically no need to press the refresh button, as refreshes happen automatically. We will skip the next icon for now, which we call the checklist completed icon. It looks like a task box with a pencil in it. Next, we will look at the menu options. On some devices, this will simply be a set of 3 square dots, one on top of the other. Tapping this menu icon reveals 3 choices: Sync Now, Settings, and Training Videos. Tapping Training Videos immediately takes you to a website where you can access our training videos for checklists. Tapping Settings will take you back to the configuration screens for checklists. However, this area is password protected with the original AQUA password that you used when entering the configuration. Tapping Sync Now will immediately sync the device to the web portal. However, manually syncing is normally not necessary, as the device will normally automatically sync after each completed checklist. We will now create and complete a checklist. We begin by selecting a checklist from the My Checklist templates. Only ad hoc checklists and checklists that are available for that day will be visible in the My Checklist templates section. Please refer to the help icon and the help screens in order to determine what the different colored clocks mean. But in general, green means that a checklist can be started and is on time, yellow means the checklist is about to be late, and red means the checklist is late. To start a checklist, simply tap the checklist from the My Checklist template section. The template details will appear. Press the green Start button. The checklist will now appear in the In Progress Checklist section. To begin working on the checklist, simply tap the checklist. You are now in the Checklist Detail screen. Here you will be able to complete the checklist. We again refer you to the Help icon in order to find out other information and specifics on how to complete this screen. In general, if you see bright red on the screen, it means that you must take some sort of action. Tapping the checklist box, taking a picture, signing your name, or filling in additional details. Begin by tapping on the first checkbox. The first tap indicates the item was completed and will be indicated by a green check mark. Tapping the item again indicates that the item could not be completed and will be indicated by a red X. Comments and pictures can be added at any time by tapping the notepad icon or the camera icon respectively. Some checklist items may have an icon that looks like a piece of paper with writing on it. Tapping this icon brings up the checklist item's details and are a great way to train new employees. Checklist items may also have a signature required icon. Simply tap this icon and a signature window will appear. Sign your name and click the Save button. Your signature will now appear in the checklist. To change the signature or modify it, simply tap your signature and begin the process again. A camera icon with a red dot on it indicates a picture that must be taken. Simply tap on the camera icon in order to initiate the camera. Take the requested photo and when complete, click the check mark or OK in order to save the picture. The picture will now appear as a thumbnail and the camera icon will now have a green dot indicating that the required picture was taken. It is also worth noting that if you had entered a comment, the notepad icon will turn to a green notepad indicating that a comment is present. Finally, a checklist item may need additional information. This information may either be optional or required. If this information is required, the word required in red will appear next to the required information spot. Simply tap on the word required in order to enter the information. Once you have completed the checklist, press the Mark Completed button. If you forgot to click a checkbox, take a picture, or sign your signature, a validation error message will appear with information regarding the error. Simply press OK, fix the error, and mark completed again. The checklist will now automatically try to sync with the web portal. After successful completion, your checklist will no longer be in the In Progress Checklist section. It is worth noting that if your checklist was a daily checklist, it now has been removed from the My Checklist templates for the rest of the day. If your checklist was an ad hoc template, it would have come back and you are now able to do this checklist again. In order to see our completed checklist, simply click on the Checklist Completed icon in the top right-hand corner. This icon looks like a task box with a pencil on it. Here we again refer you to the Help icon to find out what the icons mean. In general, green clocks means that the checklist was completed on time. Red clocks mean that the checklist was completed late. A green check mark indicates that all the checklist items were completed successfully. A red X indicates that at least one checklist item was marked incomplete. At the far right of a checklist will be either a smiley face or a frowny face. The smiley face indicates that the sync was successful. A frowny face indicates that the sync has failed. The checklist history detail list also shows the time that the checklist was completed. In parentheses is the total time in minutes that the checklist took to complete. Tapping one of the completed checklists will open up the checklist for viewing. All the information about the icons is again available in the Help icon. Simply tap the Help icon and scroll down for a list of what all the icons mean. You will notice that each completed checklist has the checklist date and time that it was completed. In addition, each checklist item had the time that the item was checked off. Quick times between checklist items may indicate that the employee simply just checked off the items without actually doing them or without actually reading them. This can also be reflected in the total time taken to do the checklist. Small total times taken on a checklist that should have taken a lot of time are good indications that your employees have taken shortcuts. These features are useful when trying to monitor fraud. Data that was entered during the checklist is also available and visible here on the screen. If a checklist item has a picture or a signature, you can simply tap that item in order to see a larger view. Press the back button in order to return back to the completed checklist history detail list. The web portal also gives you access to checklists that you may not see and checklists that were completed in the past. In addition, the web portal also provides a set of reports that enable you to find detailed information about checklists and checklists that you have completed. This completes the checklist tutorials. We hope that you enjoy using checklists.